Alright, so I'm currently trying to platinum every single type of EA game that there is out there, and if I can't do it before the channel hits 1 million subscribers, then my punishment is I have to platinum Fortnite, one of the longest, hardest, and most grindy games of all time. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, in today's video, I decided to platinum another amazingly bad indie game from EA Originals, where the only thing original coming out of them is my pain and misery bleeding into the internet for you all to consume. But today's game is called Tales of Kinzaro Zao or some shit sounding like the fancy order at an Indian cuisine restaurant. God forbid you ever go to one of those. The only Indian place near me is right next to the Dick's Sporting Goods, and if that doesn't explain my upbringing, I don't know a better analogy. But this game contains only 20 trophies, including the platinum, being yet again a very small and simple game to complete today. The only guide available is from Power Picks, and he estimated it to take around 12 hours to complete, but it only took me 8 because I said so. But kicking off the game today, there really isn't any stages to the platinum because all you need to do for the most part is complete the game, and it does allow cleanup of collectibles afterwards. So stage 1 is to beat the story, as I just said. Tales of Ken from Barbie's gameplay is 100% in 2D view, which I kind of don't enjoy. I'm not a huge 2D gamer for the most part, aside from games like Terraria or Mario. I feel like anyone else who does a game in that style is just being lazy. But this game's entire plot is all about the main character named Blackman1, who I'm gonna call him that because I don't remember his name or care to read it. But he is trying to find like his Baba or some shit. I honestly don't know what the f this game's story is. It made zero sense to me when I played it, and I just don't care enough to Google or research anything about it because the story is dog shit like usual with EA original titles. However, this game does have somewhat decent combat mechanics that worked pretty well. There was numerous powers you unlocked throughout the game that led to some kind of fun gameplay, much better than FE, whatever the f I played a few days ago that's still burned in my brain like she is. I don't know why I make these jokes. I've never had a girlfriend before, by the way.
Stop the cap.
But the first trophy of this game is called Hear My Plea, and it's gotten after I guess by kicking off the journey of today because we get tutored and led throughout the game by a man named Kalunga, which is exactly what it sounds like when my poop drops off my butt into the toilet. But just for your information, as you will clearly see, I did skip through almost all of the dialogue in this game, mostly because the story is dumb to begin with, but also because whenever a game can be bothered to animate voices and just give us text boxes, I can't be bothered to listen. I refuse to waste 4 hours of my life listening to Tales of Kinzara dialogue. I could go without that for sure. But this game's gameplay and how you progress throughout the story mostly consists of us just traveling to every possible spot within the current map's area, and it's kind of confusing at first, especially since the game doesn't really direct you and just puts an occasional marker on the map if you get lost too severely. But on the way through in this first act of the game, I would end up finding a trinket which is just used to give you a boost on your abilities and base stats. Equipping the first one also is a trophy which I got right here, and that was the last trophy I would get during Act 1. Each act in this game, by the way, usually takes about an hour or so to complete, typically more, but this entire act had us primarily with the goal of chasing after this little girl in this desolate area of the world we are in. Now I know I'm not quite at 1 million subs yet, but YouTubers just can't be chasing after children like this. It's almost too expected at this point, and it's disgusting. How dare this game try to put that on me? I actually can't believe this shit. But you do end up finally catching up to the little girl, and she basically served no purpose. We just wanted to say sorry for chasing after her. Bit of a contradiction, you creep. Anyways, you then have to follow her again, but with consent this time, I guess. I don't know, this game's plot is weird. She ends up leading us to this water wheel, and I had to then go turn it on, which took like 20 minutes because this game for some reason has extensive puzzles in it, and I really have come up with the bad game formula that I'm going to share with you all right now. Step 1 is to have a brand new world that is in relation to nothing of reality and also has nothing interesting about it. Step 2 is to have a half-assed gameplay mechanic like playing as an animal or 2D, for example. Step 3 is to then just have it be heavily parkoured up in the occasional puzzle because we don't know how to make a game have length without that. And step 4 is the final one. Why don't you guess what it is? Yup, have it be published by EA Originals. Okay, I'm killing myself.
Oh my god!
Anyways, back to the game. I ended up making it to a boss fight against this dragon-looking motherfucker, and the game does have a few boss fights which are kind of cool, and who knows, if this entire game was just boss fights and as hard as a Souls title, then maybe it would be worth playing. But this boss fight was not hard, obviously, since it's the first one of the game. And also, this game just isn't really a hard game, so yeah. Anyways, once I did defeat it, the thing's head mask armor thing got like zapped off of its face, and I'm not gonna lie, this might be the most disgusting fetal alcohol syndrome shit I've ever seen. I swear to God, it looks just like Bella Ramsey, and I'm about to retch up the salmon I just cooked. Absolutely disgusting. But with the defeat of that boss, however, it did give me a trophy, which is a W, I suppose, even though I will never rid myself of that creature's face, and I am now afraid to turn corners. Anyways, Act 2 would then begin, and this is the second act of the game coming after Act 1 because it's called Act 2. Little bro is really trying to get that 1,000-word paper right now. Good lord, baby Jesus, crack-smoking leprechaun, twizzler, twink above.
What did he say?
But Act 2 was super generic, and it just had us do parkour throughout the levels, solve some puzzles, pretty much the usual gameplay of this game, and nothing cool, interesting, or exciting ever happened. It actually felt a lot like day dating a girl named Emma. Just the most basic experience you'll ever get. Excitement that goes as deep as the flavor of almonds go, and not even salted ones. But eventually we tried risen up this bald black bitch who looked just like Will Smith's husband or the tip of my shit after a heavy DoorDash week. And it turns out Will Smith's husband was evil and then called upon the wet fart clouds of death to chase us with the objective being called Go On. And I'm not sure what I'm supposed to go on to, but if it's pink and made of hard silicone, then I refuse. Oh yeah, and it also had us just run away from the evil fart clouds as they chased us. And this is a mechanic or a gameplay scene that happens quite a few times in this game actually. More than once, which is a bit of a shocker. But it's also the only part of the game that is challenging at all. And I'm not gonna lie to you all like I do all the time. I failed over and over, and I actually got super frustrated with myself like I am all the time because I'm simply not enough. Self-doubt is my favorite thing ever, and I still have yet to book my therapy appointment. But after dying so many times, the game legitimately felt bad for us, and a little statue spawned in that said I could just skip the fleeing section. So I accepted, not because I gave up, but just to see where it would take me, and it did exactly what it said, having me just teleport you after the chasing scene. It also gave me a trophy from surviving the chase, because that's exactly what I did. Okay, editor, make sure to cut out the cheap part. Thanks, Ralph. But right after that, there was another boss fight to finish up Act 2 of the game, and this one was considerably harder than the previous battle against Bella Ramsey, HBO Max's Nepo baby, but only because the boss didn't really show itself, and I had to run all around creation, hitting these glowing eggs that show up for me to beat off like Kanye did to his cousin. Once the beating sufficed enough and we finished, there was then a come kill cam, and the enemy dude busted a fat one, and it was crazy. I've never seen such a freak before, and that's coming from a platinum ranked jerkmate user. But here's that trophy from finishing Act 2, which also did pop after that. And please don't show this video to my mother. Okay, thanks. Anyways, I kept on playing the game, unfortunately, and I ended up getting my next trophy from unlocking all the abilities in the game, which is a story-related trophy because you need all the abilities to actually beat the game and progress through puzzles inside of Act 3, which, by the way, Act 3 is the last real act of the game, with Act 4 just being a boss fight against societal issues and foreign policy. But speaking of abilities and not whatever the bro is just yapping about, I got a trophy from using one of the abilities, ultimate moves, and getting 4 kills within a single use of it. Call that a 4-some, would have been a 5-some, but I like to watch porn a Diddy, as the kids say. Act 3 would then end off with another boss fight and chase scene. However, this time they were flipped and we did the boss fight first. This time as well, the fight was actually a tad bit challenging, but only because the boss was just an angry ginger, unleashing 1% of his redhead power onto us and torturing our every move with his fiery powers from hell that Solo's creation. After defeating him though with baby oil, prayer, and oversized condoms, you end up falling down immediately into another chase scene, and I died like right away. The game also must have recognized that I suck at these, and they offered me the get out of pain card instantly. So I indulged. I can't help myself. I have no self-control. Don't sue me. But then instead of giving us a trophy, led us back to the main character being named Black Man 1, I think was how he got addressed in the intro. But his house is kind of cool, and that's where we went to next. It looks the exact same as the last time we were here as well. Maybe a little bit less love in it, but shoot, it's 2025. There hasn't been love in this world since Fortnite 2018, so make sure to drop a like and subscribe. So I have to play Fortnite because I definitely don't want to at all. The satire on this video has gotten so far, I don't even know what's real or a joke anymore. I'm gonna be so real. Or am I? Anyways, once jerking off in the house, it ends off the act and I got Act 3's trophy. And like I said, Act 4 composed of not really anything besides just a massive boss fight against the dude we were after the entire game named Baba. And I'm still unsure if this is a real person, our child, our father, our brother, our uncle, our cousin, maybe even sister, possibly an aunt. Who knows? Could be our half-brother, stepbrother, stepsister, although unlikely. Second cousin, third cousin even. Perchance a fourth cousin, who at that point I believe it's just someone that looks like you. But with a name like Baba, the boss could have even just been the boba drink I got yesterday. I can't recall its name. This guy's never had boba in his life. Anyways, the fight is actually super easy if you just abuse this charge attack that got unlocked in Act 3, because that breaks through his shield and it just hits straight damage, so easy dubs, and here's that final story trophy. The game then took me back to the main menu and I said, oh no, EA Originals, you aren't done with me yet, motherfucker. So I shoved my meat back into the flesh, getting put back to before we enter the boss fight world, so we can now begin stage 2, which is just the cleanup of this game's collectibles and a few other activities and trophies. And I do gotta admit it, this game has a shockingly good map system and it shows collectibles very well. It's actually kind of weird how perfect this game is in terms of just showing you where collectibles are. The ones you found, the ones you need, and yeah, I do have to compliment that in all honesty. You know what they say, the ugliest girls can still have nice tits, and that's how I sum up this game.
Hey, yep.
But the first trophy I got in stage 2 was from using another ability and just getting a 4-piece with it, so here's that trophy pop. Very simple. I then used Perfect Recharge 10 times, which is a new ability I unlocked after upgrading some skills on my already existing moves. But if you've ever played Star Wars Battlefront, then you know this mechanic because it's that same reload thing where the bar hits the spectral color type thing. Doing it 10 times gets the trophy, and here it is. And literally every single remaining trophy was just straight up for me grabbing everything or doing everything there is. And the first one I got was from completing all of the reflections, which made me reflect that I am pissing my life away and I'm only 20 years old. So actually, it's probably fine I'm spending my time on Tales of Kinzara Carrot Edition. I then got a trophy from unlocking unlocking all trinket slots, which is where you can shove more meat into it for better abilities. Your mother knows all about that, go ask her. I then just unlocked all of the spirit segments as well, which is another thing in this game that contributes nothing to the world just like this game does. I would then end up completing all of these spirit rituals, like that one time I tried to summon my childhood dog back to life as a kid and I just shit my pants in accident. I then collected all the trinkets and echoes, which are both just straight up collectibles. And I actually had to reload the final boss fight again because it takes you to a new world where the final codex is in for a trophy from getting all the codexes in the game itself. And my final trophy was then from unlocking all these skills in the game, which I was 1 point short during the final boss fight. However, if you just keep them alive, you can farm bot kills on the enemies he summons in, which gives you an okay amount of skill XP. Do it long enough and eventually you have enough points. Once I reached 3, I got my last skill and the trophy popped with the platinum on this quote-unquote game right along with it. So there you all go, another EA original game complete. And I unfortunately think there is still about 2 or 3 of these left, and I'm gonna lose my mind. But if you guys keep falling for the Fortnite bait on the thumbnails, then I'm not the only sucker, so take that, motherfucker.